is short. What are you talking about? I love Trump too, guys. Whatever people say, I don't help you. I know they're bullshit. Man, fuck you, nigga. I'm telling you, man. I live right next to Trump, nigga. I live next to Mar-a-Lago, nigga. I'm being real, nigga. I'm just saying, man, fuck you, nigga. I'm a Republican. I love Trump. Yeah, right. Listen, some of y'all were good. He's for Trump. Whatever, man. Whatever, man. Bad progressive, man. Follow me. I get it, bro. I get it. Yo. I'm not a part of that, man. I'm not a part of it. I think differently.
What do you...
I'm mad at it because I think differently. Relax, man. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a... You're going to be here. Don't worry about it. Go ahead, sir. What do you got?
What do you think about Donnie and how he's doing in New York?
Well, for one, I don't live in New York, so why the f*** would I care? Right?
Because you care about the president.
Why is somebody No, he's doing a great job according to New Yorkers. Right? Potholes are getting filled. He just closed a deficit of 12 fucking Democrats who've had it all. Guess what? They don't give a fuck. So there's a mayor of Paris.
So when
and you mad at him because he looked different?
So him closing the that's actually a really good reason not to like him. But with him closing the deficit, if you compare how he closed the deficit, if you compare how he closes the deficit versus how Trump's doing, how Trump's methodology is going, which one would you choose and why?
What the fuck? What is his methodology to close the deficit? Please let me know.
You've been paying attention to it, so I figured you have some commentary.
No, I did. And guess what? 0.9. You hated Biden when it was 2.9%. You hated 0.9. You hated Biden when it was 2.9%. You hated it.
Can I ask you a question more time, please?
For 4 years.
I'm sorry, I want to get...
You've been for 4 years about egg prices. Now you don't care. Now you don't give a fuck.
The price I bought my eggs for $2.99 today. They were all organic.
Where I'm at is $4.89.
Gas is $3.91.
Oh, that's good, man. Even last year before the war, I'm the type of motherfucker, like, I like shit. I like to know tax from overtime. You hear me?
You the type of motherfucker like to talk.
I got a lot of, because I do. I'm not here. You understand?
I know you.
Talking. Holy crap. He doesn't want to...
You Hispanic?
No, listen, numbers lie. People lie, numbers don't, Source. You do too.
Nah, numbers can lie. Numbers can definitely lie.
What the fuck I got to do when they think I'm Hispanic or not? Numbers...
Because you sound
people lie, numbers don't.
No, numbers can't lie.
Your
numbers don't. Income fact.
And it give
okay, if numbers don't lie, if numbers don't lie, then the stock market says he's doing good.
The stock market, but what about the what about?
No.
What about how many of y'all members?
I'm passing back to you, man.
Yo, you think gas goes down, he'll still stay strong.
Don't forget, yo.
He gonna say it went down too fast.
Yo, don't forget.
can say that fuck out of who the fuck is
Hey, yo. Edward Lynn in the chat says he wants you to give your thoughts about the Constitution. What are your thoughts about our Constitution?
Fuck you, Edward.
Pockets.
Pockets, oh my god.
Pockets. That wasn't very ladylike.
Yo, what do you hold? What do you hold to? Oh yeah. What do you hold to be true?
Shame on you.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I said that.
Are you okay with Trump taking a shit on the Constitution? Are you okay?
He hasn't done it yet.
No, listen, you gotta read the Constitution outside of we the people, right?
Just being real.
Well, we asked you
Some
about
Muslim,
your thoughts
no
about
our
the
answers.
Constitution, not if Trump took a shit on it.
He did. He wiped his ass.
Hey, Hollywood, we asked
Who the fuck you are? Young Hollister? Who?
Young Hollister.
Oh my god.
Don't fucking play with
Is this
yourself,
real?
scary ass little bitch.
Young hospice.
He's Somalian.
American, you know, black man.
He's Somalian too.
He's talking
Black
to
and
the house.
I'm more white than bitch on both
Y'all Hispanic mulattoes, Somali mulatto mix.
He's 17 at the hospice. You mad at me?
You know, like Joe said, I'm kind of confused on what you're
You are stupid. Of course.
I don't know how Edward thought you would get a full, complete thought out with the.
What the fuck is you? You a BB or
Well, that's
something?
why you were in the chat.
No, I mean, like a response.
Sure.
Joe,
That's the
how
question.
do you belong?
I don't give a fuck. They don't
Yeah,
respect black folks. I don't give a
Let
fuck
Yo
about
answer
none
the
of that.
question about the Constitution.
What did you steal?
Who is Habibi?
Let me answer what
The whole question was for
That
Yo.
nigga
Young
Henry got
hospice.
Arabian
Sit
himself.
down.
He ain't even
Yo, you
black. I
there?
don't know what he's.
Yo, are you there? Yo, are you there?
Are we asking for Edward or is Edward gonna ask?
No, Edward is asking Yo.
What did you steal?
Chat. Because I don't think he can speak right now, so I read it out loud to Yo.
He literally is asking for Yo to answer the question.
And will you do it? Will you ask?
Well, hey, what was the
No,
Okay, wait.
Pockets, quiet.
Didn't even have the comprehension skills.
Alright. Yo, so I'm going to ask again. Edward Lynn would like to know what your thoughts are about the Constitution. And your response cannot have the word
Really lack comprehension.
Yeah, young hospital.
I just want to Yo.
What the fuck is this nurse?
But bitch, act like
Who
you
the fuck is this nurse?
fucking moron.
Where's this nurse?
Act like you can fucking comprehend when people
Yo,
are saying.
what are your thoughts on the Constitution?
Alright, he gets a chance to answer it. If he doesn't do it, then he gets.
I'm trying to answer, bro.
Alright, go for it.
This guy's fucking ADD. Anyway, what I was saying was, what was the question?
What are your thoughts on the Constitution?
Okay, yeah. All right.
He called somebody AD.
Hey,
Low comprehension.
That's what we all, bro.
It's a lifeline.
Shut the fuck up and let him answer.
Hey,
the
but
question.
one thing I know for
The
sure is that
Constitution is what I.
Jim Crow is not the word.
He's trying to
Listen.
He's trying to
The
relate.
Constitution
We're
didn't
asking Yo, not you, Galen.
Yeah, hold on, Lo. The Constitution is
Jim
what it is.
Crow.
Read past the first
Not
three letters.
Constitution.
It's what you live by. Let me ask you this. If America has no laws and no constitution, what is it? It's a banana republic. We follow laws. We follow regulations. We follow rules. Because that's what separates you. It is. What the fuck you mean, pause? That's what the fuck separates you from a different continent, right? So my question is this. If you allow certain people because they have money, certain laws or certain rules, certain regulations, what the fuck does the Constitution even mean? It's just fucking
Bro,
words on
I'm
paper.
not sure what Jim Crow
It's
is not
words on a
the
piece of
Constitution.
paper.
Please.
And
Your
you're
name
mad
is
about it.
Galen.
If people on the
Hey,
force,
Fema, it's your turn.
no, I'm being honest, bro. If people on the force, it's words on a piece of paper.
Your name is Galen.
Not the Constitution.
Again,
It's
like
the bulldog. The bulldog.
Andrew, let's give it to Fema.
Yo, he answered correctly. What is America without the Constitution? Shout out to him. Okay, look.
I'm just saying, either way, though, you
Wait, what did he say? What did he say?
He said, what is America without the Constitution?
Exactly. So
Yeah,
there's
what's
no
America
laws
without
without
Jim Crow?
Okay. like that.
What the fuck does that mean? Jim Crow been gone.
You never heard of Jim Crow?
I did hear of it, but it's not here now.
Wait, who is Jim?
You never heard of it.
Galen, why
I
would
never
you
heard of
bring
Jim
up
Crow.
Jim Crow?
Oh, Jim Crow, man. Jim Crow, man. Who cares about Jim Crow? Mean that. Oh, Jim Crow. Jim Crow is. I don't remember.
He's literally
I
black.
don't remember. You remember Jim Crow?
He's literally black.
You guys sound like, get the fuck
Man, listen, man. Jim Crow.
It's not constitutional, man. Well, it's not
Bro,
constitutional.
we talking like you lived in that
Jim
area.
Crow is not Jim.
Yo,
Jim Crow is not
probably
constitutional.
lived in that
What
area.
you talking about, bro? We're talking about the present time. It's not constitutional, but it was still enforced.
Yo, he's a black
Jim
man.
Crow's
Stop talking
enforced.
like he's white.
That's how you got the. Hey, that's how you got the police department and the fire department spraying down with water hoses trying to go vote.
Galen, you weren't even
Sticking
there.
dogs on it. Sticking dogs on it. Sticking dogs on it trying to go vote. Oh, go vote, niggas. And we're gonna blast you with water hoses. Man, y'all need to get out of here, man. Y'all sound, yeah, the water hose, the fire department gets you with water
You should
hose.
drink out of water hoses as a kid, man.
I used to drink out of water hose too, and I love that life. Oh, you drink out the color water? You drink out the color water? You drink out the color water?
Not who you think.
No,
Hey, how you do the sound effects? That's pretty cool.
red wing. I had the bologna with the red ring in it. The hair with the red bologna. So what? That doesn't make you better than me. That doesn't make your heart, your life was harder. What's Central? You understand Reaganomics.
If I can get the sound effects, I'll get the DJ for the room.
No, don't listen. He said Reaganomics. Go ahead, Reaganomics, yes. Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan is the reason why we have this wealth gap.
Some
That's the
people love
problem.
that.
You don't know who the fuck
Reagan is the
Reagan is.
reason why we have
Some
the
people, some black
Yes,
people
the
love
generational wealth gap. He said Ronald Reagan. What the fuck is wrong with you? You don't care. No, let him talk. Ronald Reagan. Where was it come from? I know.
You're not doing the time.
Go ahead. I don't talk out of my ass like you people do. I don't talk out of my ass
I
like you
need
do.
you to breathe.
I've been
Nah, wrong time, man. Wrong time.
He's exhausted. We need to support this
And
man.
he actually heard you.
Support this man.
I was surprised.
George Floyd now will be canceled.
Beamer, you better get in here.
George Floyd.
I knew.
Let me ask you this. Name one thing Reagan has done to improve America.
He gave niggas government cheese and government
One thing
Dude got shot in the leg.
Bang.
Yo, Beamer wants to answer your question. Ask your question again, yo. Yo, ask your question again. Lord, that shit not crazy. Yo, ask your question again so everybody can answer.
Let me ask you, what was the one thing that Reagan did that improved anybody's life?
He did more than
He got shot in the leg. It was lit.
How did it improve your life?
Dude, it gave me hope. What are you talking about, bro?
Get the fuck out. You weren't even born.
Dick sucker.
Give me the leg and then you want
Bullshit.
shit.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
You know
Actions are high back then,
Do
nigga.
you know that?
Actions are high.
Reaganomics is a myth,
When
bro.
did crack cocaine
Before
infiltrate
you
black
start
neighborhoods?
staying
When
where I
did
was,
crack cocaine
I was
infiltrate black neighborhoods?
Right after Jim Crow. Right after Jim Crow.
It wasn't, no.
Right after Jim Crow.
Are you attributing something?
Jimmy Carter was a Democrat.
I guess the crack just walked in by itself.
Hey, you know what? Let me ask you this though. You know, why did you name yourself yo? You ever heard of Habitat for Humanity? Up and down.
Yeah, I
You ever heard of Habitat for
You
Humanity?
ever seen crack rock with legs?
You don't know nothing about
You have the audacity to blame Jimmy Carter. You can tell me. You have the audacity.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. So I'm trying to piece everything that you're saying. I'm hearing you. What would you say is your biggest issue with? Let me ask you this: are you a proponent of capitalism, or are you more socialist, communist? Let's start there.
No, I'm a capitalist.
Okay.
I'm a happy capitalist.
Okay.
But I'm not a greedy, selfish capitalist. Does that make sense? The problem is that you lost your way. You think that the people who that I ran to, right? The people who I want to make sure their life is good is my enemy. Y'all want me to believe this shit so bad.
That's not making
No, that
sense.
is. It really is.
Yo, I don't. That makes. I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, you asked me a question.
Going on over
But what I'm saying
You asked me a question on this.
is, well, hold on.
You asked me a question on
You're
this.
not going a whole.
You asked me a question.
You answered it. Yo, I'm not. I don't know anything else that you said after you said you're a capitalist. Now you're just talking about stuff.
No, listen, I am. And guess what? America's a socialist in a certain way because you pay Social Security, right?
No, and that's true.
You do
So
pay
what would
Social
you say
Security.
what is your
Everybody's
number
supposed to be
one
waiting.
issue with the country right now? What would you say is your biggest issue?
What do you mean?
Well, what would you say? It's we all got like
Where do I start? Where do I start?
top
Where do I start?
Labor.
Okay, are you going to listen or are you going to interrupt?
No, I said start with the labor.
Just try to be sustained.
Okay, listen. I know you know. You know what? You're the truth. You're the truth here. I get it.
So would you consider your how? Okay,
I'm just telling you this, bro. America lost 1.1 million jobs last year. You hear me? And overwhelming majority of those jobs were from black people. So black unemployment has increased overwhelmingly. I know Annie don't give a fuck. Of course she doesn't. Because you are
That's a lie.
certain programs.
So
Not a lie. It's not a lie,
bro.
I don't
So
talk.
you
That's not true.
that Trump has caused this?
That's
not true, bro.
Numbers. I don't talk.
No, because ICE removed a lot of illegal immigrants.
I don't give a fuck.
ICE removed a lot of illegal immigrants.
Put this 12 in your head.
But if you're not going to be able to make a cogent
They
argument,
won't even let me
and I'm
fucking finish. They won't
Bro,
let me
you're
finish.
for another couple seconds. But let me
Black
ask you,
people are worthless.
the reason for this job loss? What is the reason for this job loss? Because they just let me ask you that. What do you attribute to the job loss?
So let me ask you this: are you upset that over majority of those?
You're doing great.
Answer her
You need some water.
Hold on.
Answer her question. Question, bro. I'm tired of this, bro.
You need some water. I need some water.
She's speculating.
Politics.
Answer her question.
I'm like you.
Can you hear me?
Reset, bro.
Yes, I can.
Yo, man. Y'all pissed Yo-Yo off. Yo-Yo is pissed off.
You know, when you
So Yo-Yo, so calm down. Labor. Who does the labor, bro?
I do.
Penis
What are you fucking talking about?
Black niggas do no labor.
Fuck is the who you talking? I'm talking about me.
Who the fuck? Oh, you're a capitalist, having labor, like the Mexicans didn't do labor.
Hi, Marshall. Hi, Tasha.
Hey, you can Google Gator, but you can't Google Yo-Yo.
The hormones.
Man, Yo-Yo's tracking straight of hormones right now. So
You know, I'm practicing shit straight right now, Daddy.
you're in the straight of hormones.
Wait, what you say?
Yeah, he's in the straight of hormones.
What's your name?
Definitely not inside.
And this is what I get. I can't even have a
In the chat.
But this your chance.
I just can't have a simple conversation, man.
No, we
Yeah, you the cause of it.
But this is who you are, bro. I gotta get down to hustle, bro. And I know facts. And I'm more
Yo, we love you,
What,
man.
FAX?
We love you, man. We got love for you, Yo-Yo.
I don't love you, Galen.
Well, it's all good, bro.
Fuck this bitch ass nigga.
Fuck you, young Hall of Spice.
I'm gonna tell you.
You're not even a Spice rat. Who are you?
I have respect.
You are an Asian, bro. You a fucking. You probably from.
If spice in the world, what would you be?
You probably from
Quit
FBI.
making shit
You're a
up, bro.
RoboCop.
Say
You're like a
the words, bro.
RoboCop.
Vice
Who
versa.
the fuck you come from?
Yo-Yo's AA meeting.
RoboCop.
Bro, this is not AA meeting.
Who the fuck you?
Yo-Yo's an AA meeting. Got cured malaria.
So what? I think I'm doing good, and my impersonations are getting good.
Smart people don't like it.
Does anyone think that we're gonna end up in another pandemic?
Yes, because the head top.
New York said they preparing for it, but Trump said he ain't giving us no money. You guys are
The last time
It's not a drawn-out way which would stop it from spreading all over the United States.
I'm sorry.
Meaning, like, between time.
Wait.
I was talking to you. I was talking to you.
Johnny,
I was talking to you.
Once you had Rofeda come and make a statement to me that prior to 1948, Jews and Palestinians were living in the land peacefully and everything was good. I told her, no, that's not true.
Relatively, in relative terms, yes, they were living well.
Okay, hey.
She wasn't wrong. One instance is on the definition of your entire experience.
So
Again, you're wrong. Technically, you're wrong. In relative terms, they were living in.
Well, I want to ask
So you're
Rofeda.
still wrong. You're wrong.
I want to ask Rofeda a few questions because she made the statement, not you guys. Please don't jump in to try to save her life.
Can I say
Okay?
something?
Please.
Just for an instant.
She's a
My
smart,
grandfather-
educated woman.
my
She can understand on her own. She can respond on her own. This
Can I say
conversation was
something?
between me and
Can
her.
I say
Amir, don't
something?
worry about her. She'll
Can
be
I
fine.
say something? Can I say
Go ahead.
something?
Go ahead,
My
Rofeda.
grandfather, my great-grandfather, was a Palestinian, originally Jew, who moved from Palestine to Egypt because of the oppression the Zionists even did for the Jews in Palestine. They did that. And just a second, we have a map. We used to have a map of our
Amir, you're hearing this? Zionists apparently oppress the Jews also. Zionists oppress the Jews.
Germany, what do you think?
This is a pro-Palestinian movement at its finest. Zionists oppress everything and everyone.
Wait, do you think Zionists are Jews' friends? You're so
Oh my God. We have documents of our land in Nablus. We have a home, our key home for our grandfather house. We still have it. We have coins in that time that they used to have. They have their currency, they have their culture, they have their original ethnicity, and you guys came and stole everything. If I'm gonna be correct, is Jacob, the guy who stole Mona's house in Sheikh Jarrah, he just came from Brooklyn, New York, and he told her, oh, if I didn't steal it, someone else is gonna steal it. Does that guy belong to the land? Any other Zionist around any part of the world can claim the nationality, come to Israel, and take the land, and take a house from the government. That house belonged to a Palestinian family. This is what occupation is actually called. If you don't know, it is occupation. They are called settlers. They are not called original inhabitants of the land. And let me correct you about one thing. I don't even believe in the one state solution. I don't believe that if someone come and took my land, and that someone took my house, and he's living in that house, and for generations he has lived there and gave birth there for different generations, and then I have to worry, where is this son going to go? I can't take my home because there are people there who didn't do that occupation, but they lived there peacefully, so they belong to the land. No, that house belongs to me. That land belongs to me. And those people who grew up in that country, they have original homes, they have multiple nationalities that they can go to. You have more than one language, you have more than one ethnicity. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. You do not belong to the land. I do more than you.
Okay, Rofeda, did you say your grandpa was a Jew?
Yeah.
Okay, when did your grandpa live in Palestine?
He grew up in Palestine until my...
When? Give me the year.
He left after the Nakba.
So what year was your grandfather born?
I think 1950.
1950. Okay. So let me make sure I understand. His father was a Jew?
Yes.
And his father's father was a Jew?
Yes. And I have.
And they were living in Palestine?
Yes.
Oh, guys, what happened?
I think you're.
Whoa, guys.
I think you.
This goes back to my thank you, Rosetta. Wait, Rosetta, I was quiet. Whoa, what is going on in your life? This is given proof that the ancient Israelites, the kingdoms were there for the last 3,000 years, and even after the destruction of the Second Temple, Jews remained living in the land, and Rosetta is proof of that. Rosetta, thank you. Thank you. Mazel tov.
Just a second.
Amir, you just heard it. Jews were living in Palestine for centuries.
Bro, respectfully, my speakers are about to pop, bro. My speakers are about to pop. Respectfully, can I ask you a couple questions? I'm curious
Thank you
to know.
so much. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for acknowledging that your ancestors were Jews. They were in the land prior to 1948. You just destroyed the Palestinian argument for everybody. I didn't even need to lift up a finger. I didn't even need to say anything.
You ignorant fuck. They are Jew Palestinians. You don't understand.
I never denied it. I don't know. When did I deny it?
Amir, let me hear from your mouth.
Jews
have been living.
No. You
Jason, it's your version Jew. You moved. You got kicked out of Iran. You never lived over there.
Being Jewish is a religion.
Guys, I love all of you. You really make my stomach.
Don't put us on. I want to ask you a few questions. I want to know as a non.
Okay, let's take turns now. I think Gary wants to ask some questions. Sonny, you can go after Gary if you like.
I don't want to hear it. Literally prove my point to all of you.
Ronnie denies it. Oh my God.
Jason, you're acting weird, bro. I want to ask
Nobody denied that the Jews did not live on that land. Nobody did.
Didn't you say no? But we were talking about this. 1929. We never denied it. That was never denied. So I don't know why you're fucking laughing at the fucking dumb.
Never denied it, bro. Less than 5% of the Jews lived on that land. I don't get it. Like, this guy is retarded as fuck.
Yeah, bro, you gotta chill with this.
Gary, it's on you now. This fucker, I have to keep muting this fucker, man. This fucking Jason piece of shit.
Jason, I wanted to ask you a few questions. Just out of curiosity, because I really want to know. I'm new to this entire thing. So I want to ask you a few questions. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. But Carrie, did you just hear what happened? Were you listening?
I have absolutely no idea about it.
Please keep your voice low.
Wait. Okay, Santana, encazda. Biz anla. Karışın karamadı. Yes,
You're loud. You're literally loud. My husband is asleep.
Carrie, you said tuning in. I just want to tell you what happened. It'll take me 1 minute.
Recounting, just add to
1 minute. No, it's very important. Maybe
no, it's not. It's not.
Maybe Carrie has
Keep
a
quiet.
logical
You're not
mind.
that. You're not that into how this
Maybe
group
has a
works.
logical mind.
You can wait.
You know what? God's lawyer was wrong.
This
Like something.
He can come back up when he comes down. He cannot come down.
Yeah, bro, you gotta stop with the exciting things.
I
Like,
can't.
oh my god. He constantly talks like. I just want to ask him a few questions.
It's okay. We can bring out bro. I don't bring him up, man. He gives me a fucking headache. Go on, Sonata.
He is Iranian. His religion is he's a Jewish. That's his religion. He is Iranian, and he's trying to connect himself to Israel. He's trying too hard. That's it.
That's the part I was a little. That was the part I was a little.
His ethnicity. He is Iranian. He is a Persian. His religion, yeah, he's a Jewish. We have Christian Iranian. We have a Jewish in Iran. We have Muslim in Iran, and so on. That's it.
That's what I wanted to ask
him. I don't know why they think it's an ethnicity.
Okay, let her finish, Gary. You know, when that fucker's on the stage, nobody can speak. All he does is barks on our fucking speaker panel. I got a headache, man. That's why I don't allow him on my stages. It's been about a week. He keeps coming in here. I don't bring him up. Because he's annoying as hell.
Yeah, his voice is very...
Oh my god.
Tell us about hyena or something.
It's whining and it's obnoxious. And it's I've heard those guys speak before, but everything that
show their lifestyle. They keep talking about how to get the money. I'm rich. I'm this, and then they have a course that's $20,000, and then girls are actually subscribing, and all they're teaching them is start outside FBA. You know what I mean? It's literally just a scam if you're thinking about it, because you're not selling. You're selling a lifestyle. You're selling a lifestyle that you don't really have, and these people are actually paying the lifestyle for paying for this course.
Money from the courses.
Exactly. Even Andrew Tate BS.
Take that money and then start writing a lot of stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like $10,000 for a course, they're getting on a private jet and telling you, oh, this is how I became a billionaire. Whole time they didn't do anything. You know what I mean? They just teaching you.
Selling a course. The billionaire is focused on billions. You don't see
that's what I'm saying. Like, homogenous, more power, or something like that, that it constitutional to racially gerrymander.
No, man. After the Supreme Court struck down,
the Supreme Court upheld it.
No, after the Supreme Court struck down Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, communities of interest, meaning racially homogenous districts, are no longer constitutional. There was a decision that preceded that which said racial gerrymandering in total was illegal. Right? So I can politically gerrymander, right? Like if I have a big city that votes 95% for the Democratic Party, and I'm in a state, I can gerrymander it to dilute that power politically and not be a racial thing, right?
Hey, bro, can you define gerrymandering? I don't know what it means. Like, can you define it?
Gerrymandering simply means the drawing of political districts for congressional representation.
Got you. That's interesting, bro. What about redlining again? Can you define that?
So if I'm able to do this correctly, redlining is the racist practice of making sure people can't afford homes by lining them out of the ability to either afford them or rent them or buy them. Now, that Merriam-Webster definition, I can't quote you. I'm quoting you what I think the colloquial definition is. If you've got something to add to that, please do. Always happy to learn.
Always. So redlining is like focusing on zip codes that are black people, pretty much.
Trying to keep certain people out of certain neighborhoods.
Like giving them like loans, bank loans.
Redlining. It's trying to keep black people in the hood.
We want the black people to stay together. We don't want them to come to
but not offering them loans.
Okay?
Yeah, but no, now they got the housing authority and HUD, and so black people are moving into low-income housing on different parts of the city at the expense of the taxpayer.
Banks were not to lend money, pretty much, based on zip code. Don't lend money to these redline places,
which
they're high risk.
Is against Title. Somebody help me. 7-6.
Nobody cares about none of the laws. It's read by criminals. So you talk about laws and it's illegal, and the bank is gonna be like, yo, we're not lending money to these people that are in these certain zip codes. Period. It doesn't matter if it's legal or not.
Right, look at what they're doing to Louisiana. All the blacks in Louisiana. They said, hold on.
That's the whole point.
Give us back that
damn. It's showing the banks.
All right, so, I guess Gemini and Mimi, they come in here all the time, so they're going to play around with y'all on big tech and try to, not offend them for IDE. I came in here because y'all was talking shit about California people. Normally, I don't come in here.
Like fucking 1/5 of a man or something like that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, Jim Crow is still legal. It doesn't matter if it's illegal. It just
being
and who can enforce, improve
I
this
know I'm a confluence. Like, so the genetics and the
you can't
environment
butcher your way out of
represent
depression.
like
That's why I said,
factors that
I
can
was
be
talking to somebody, I said, listen, man,
articulated
you can't
as
butcher your way out of
dispositions.
depression.
Like,
When you
I have a
think you go
genetic
vote,
need
you
for
go and try to
water,
vote
right?
on
Based on
Sunday
like the way
morning,
my
and you
biology
get sprayed
works.
down with a
So
water hose
disposition
and
towards
beaten by
drinking water.
dogs.
Like
That's
they're
the issue with this
reflective of
country.
each
Like,
other, and they
people try to
account for
vote, man,
the
you gonna get
biological
beaten by dogs
reality
and
and
sprayed
the
with water
actual
hose.
choices
So
made by
that's
humans.
the
And
issue.
again,
Then
you
you
just have
Please, in a modern place, tell me where that's happening. I like.
yeah, it's happening all the time, bro.
No, that's not what I mean.
Enough about all these snakes on the plane. In Ireland, when St. Patrick finally got the snakes out, it was all about...
That's not what I asked you. I asked you where people used to do water hoses and chased up dogs.
Oh, I mean, it's changed, but that's the issue of this country when it came to voting.
And what is the creature?
The fact of its existence, living its timeline.
Yeah, what are you? You're a creature. What does that mean? What is a creature?
It's a metaphysical entity that has the attributes of self-awareness, moral inclinations, and it may be to some degree emotional influence.
Yeah, so so you're a creature that's aware. That's fine. The awareness isn't gonna, cause anything. But inclinations would be another word for disposition, right? So any inclination you have is just you are a composite of these inclinations.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if that's true, then how does my argument not just follow from that?
Because I'm not constrained to making choices that conform to any of my pre-existing dispositions.
But you said choices are made by an agent, and what an agent is, as you just said, is just something that's aware. That is a confluence of you use the word inclinations, but I think we can substitute dispositions for that. If that's what you are, then it's just dispositions making choices, in effect, right? Is selecting from these choices. So what feels like freedom to you and to most people is the competing, is the competition within your mind, your awareness, right, of these dispositions. That is what libertarian freedom is. It is an illusion, right, where you self-reflect on this competition amongst dispositions.
Can you better define what you mean by competing dispositions? How are they competing for one another? Is it the creature weighing the options and because since what you are is a confluence, right, each one is trying to, I guess, for lack of a better understanding, like take the driver's seat in a particular event, right? And then like it's kind of like their arm wrestling, right? Like the stronger one in the moment is going to win out, which doesn't mean the rational one, by the way, right? You might roll over and turn your alarm off and go to sleep and miss your job and get fired, whatever, right? You might cheat on your wife, you might do all these horrible things, but right, these are going to be different dispositions, right, based on different values that you have, and the strength of the stronger disposition is going to win out, which is going to be your choice. So whenever this competition is occurring versus you just do something instinctually, for example, right, that's what feels like freedom. That's why people think they have free will. It's this recursive thought about this competition, right? When we reflect back on this, it seems trivial to us that the other one could have won, right? That we quote unquote, the ego, right? That was an illusion too, right? Could have done otherwise. But you couldn't have done otherwise because you are this competition. That is what you are. You are a competition of wills. I suppose it's possible, but the problem with your the problem with your deterministic way of looking at free will is that you're not able to account for the dispositions or choices that
from black voters.
Oh, okay.
So what you're referencing are the Southern Democrats when they were hosing down black people, right? Crow, the era of Jim Crow, it was all about suppressing voters.
Yeah, and I was saying, Joe, saying that Jim Crow wasn't constitutional, but it was enforced.
It was ran by the states, though. Yeah, those were state laws.
It was enforced, though.
Well, this is what we can say, right? My grandma, right? My mom's mom was 57. She lived in like the area of Jim Crow, segregation, all that little shit, right? But she was not no slave, right? But I do have, my second great grandmother. She did pick cotton. She was from Alabama, right? So when you're talking about American history is a vast majority of different histories, depending on where your ancestors are from, and it's not the same history.
Hello.
Yeah, my history.
Go to ChicagoMayorVote.com.
Kentucky.
This is Mayor of Canada, John Kitover. It's 1:37 a.m. CST. We are listening to the President Trump House.
They did have slaves, but they fought for the Union. It was called bloody.
Like and share this video.
Family was tore apart. Brothers were killing brothers over it. It was ruthless. My family did not, though. My family's always been poor. We are one of the poor whites that never owned slaves, like the rich Marshall Rankin family that we've heard of as a plantation owner. But look, you can't just apply that. The biggest holdback is to apply that everyone's history automatically based upon who you're talking to and the color of their skin or how they vote or whatever it to how the history was at one time. It's like, here's a white person, were they involved with, was their granddaddy involved with it? Hell, let me tell you what, I don't know if my great-grandfather was a racist, but the likelihood of racists existing 100 to 200 years ago is high. I mean, what do you want us to say? Racists still exist today.
We could talk about that. The common denominator is we need free labor or cheap labor. So slavery provided free labor. Like, you don't have to pay them. You can just beat them into submission and they'll just build whatever you want them to build. And then you have Mexicans and illegal immigrants who are cheap labor. Somebody has to do the labor. That's how you get rich, by having servants and people working for you to build your empire. Everybody knows that. And so I don't know why we're talking about nobody realizes the elephant in the room is if you don't have anybody building your dream and working for you, free or cheap, then you're not going to build anything.
That's not the only businesses in the country. In fact, it's not the way most businesses build in this country. If what you're talking about is farm labor, I'll give you an example. I've done it. I've picked crops for 3 months. They pay $8.75 an hour. And you
for how long? 3 months? Okay.
And you work until I got a political job, which I usually do. My point being is that these people do this job for about $8.75 an hour, and they do it all the time. But there are a lot of people who don't want to do that. But there are also tons of industry.
Amazon for 12 months. Have you ever worked for Amazon for 12 months? That's slave labor.
No, it's fucking not. No, it's not. Hold on. Right, no, it's not. When you use the term slave labor, please bother to be accurate, because words mean things. Being really honest, honest, there aren't people fucking taking these folks. There aren't people taking these folks and whipping them for breaking eggs, putting fucking chains around their genitals. None of that shit.
Holy shit.
What the fuck are you talking about?
So I think really advanced.
Genital change.
No, I'm just here. I am just here when you call actual work slave labor when it's fucking not, because it carries a historical connotation in our country that is evil. If you're going to accuse Amazon of doing evil shit, then you should at least have the evidence to back them up. Or you shouldn't use the terminology because it doesn't fit the actual business model. My God.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Marshall. If you were to go to Amazon and they say, hey, would you like to be like a driver and deliver packages, or would you like to be like a white boy, just looking at a computer, just making sure everything is straight? What job are you going to choose?
The packages. I don't like sitting in offices. That's just me. I may be weird now, but I fucking hate sitting in offices. So I would always take the jobs that put me out.
Well, the white boys who I know that work at like these companies that I know about, they like to sit in the offices, bro. They like walking around as managers. And this is why affirmative action. Listen, did you know that affirmative action has been ended? Like, there's no company that's obligated to hire black people anymore. Like, affirmative action is something.
Let me do a follow up. Hold on, Galen. Before you go down affirmative, that's opening a new thread. Let's stay where you're at. Let me ask you a question though. I want to have dialogue with you. The history is important to us, but it's good to look forward to the future. With the rise of AI, which largely is going to affect many white collar office jobs. No race is pun intended or anything.
Office jobs held by white people. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's not with black people.
What do you think? What do you think's going to happen now with all that cheap labor that you referenced? It's going to be being done soon, largely by automation, computers, robots.
Yeah,
so what are they going to do now when it's going to be a vast majority of Americans, if we continue to fight over the past rather than looking at what's facing in the future? How are we going to be able to get through this with the rise of AI?
Yeah, so when you say we, you're talking about white-collar jobs. A lot of white-collar jobs are held by, Caucasian males. We can all agree on that, right? So the thing is that it's going to affect a lot of Caucasian males, and they're going to be like the white middle class is going to be very, very, very down bad. And they're going to understand how the country actually was using black people as a subject to understand the tolerance of and how to take away certain privileges and resources. And so now that that's been protected, now the middle class white people are going to now take basis.
Why is that okay?
And a lot of farmland.
Why? Why are you okay with Chinese investors back to military bases? Now you trust China.
Who are we 39?
We got around to.
Who are we in debt to, bro? When they say $39 trillion in debt, who are we in debt to?
Most of it ourselves. About 30 cents on every dollar to China, about 10 cents on every dollar to Japan. If you really were an international competitor and you wanted to fuck us up, what you would start doing is selling U.S. Treasury debt, right? Which would then make it so that the U.S. couldn't finance other things. But we owe over 50%, over 50 cents on every dollar to ourselves. It had the debt has not been this high. Yes, to ourselves. Every American has something like $250,000 in debt. Now that's an estimation because I'm Don't take it to the exact fact that it's $250,000, but it's above $200,000.
You know what, Marshall? I'm gonna add you, bro. I'm gonna add you as I gotta talk to you in the back channel, bro.
And as far as other countries, there's no such thing as debt when you have the strongest military. What are they really gonna do?
Man, the struggle.
Of course, there's such a thing as debt. The The British Empire was once the strongest military on the face of the earth. When the pound devalued and fell out of
It was the
war,
Roman Empire.
it became the U.S. dollar. So spending more than you take in, spending more than you can borrow, spending more than you can pay back, always fucking matters.
Marshall.
There's never a case where it doesn't matter.
Let me ask Marshall, who's the last president that left with surplus when he left office?
Bill Clinton, the federal
president. Exactly. And who after that was the Republican president that caused the largest deficit?
Was it dollars and backed by gold?
Largest debt would have been George W. Bush.
It was. He had the lowest. Trump has a 32% approval rating, which is the second lowest for a sitting president during a war. During a fucking war, it's low. But also, Bush had a lower percentage because he was even more unpopular. What I'm saying is this.
Yeah, but you got to think about like 9/11, like with Al Gore in 2000 with Al Gore.
What happened now? We went and invaded the
country. Hold on. One second.
Why are we at war now? Don't compare them. What the fuck?
No, what I'm saying is that
9/11.
No, listen to what I'm saying. Is that back in 2000 when George Bush was trying to run for office, he was running for office as president, and Al Gore won in Florida. That was, and then guess what?
That's when the ballots.
They said it was a hanging chad.
I remember that.
That was the shit. And then what happened was George Bush was able to turn over Florida through the hanging chad, and then once he got in office, guess what? The World Trade Center. So down through history.
I know you thought
I should be blessed to have me in this call right now.
9/11 loose change.
You should be blessed to have me in this call where you can entertain this. But what I'm trying to say is this: is that in 9/11 would not have happened if it wasn't for George Bush being president. So what I'm trying to explain to you is that
George Bush did everything his dad told him to.
No.
George Bush was a stoner that didn't even want to be president.
That's not true. Bin Laden sponsored
You think that 9/11 would have
Saudi Arabia.
Hold on. You think 9/11 would have happened with Al Gore being president? With Al Gore being president, 9/11 would have happened.
Can anybody get a work other than
You think that 9/11 would have happened with Al Gore being president?
Hey, hold up. Bob is speaking. Look, one mic. I know this is a hot topic. One mic. We're going to go with Galen, then back to Yo. Make your points. Pass the mics. Don't hog them.
Okay. What I'm saying is this: is that in 2000, right, the year 2000, Al Gore and George Bush were going up against presidency. Al Gore was like, "Yo, we need to do green, energy, all this stuff." The deciding vote for the presidency was Florida, and what happened was there was a hanging chad on the voting. So it said that Al Gore won Florida, but then they went back and retracted it. And then they said that George Bush won Florida because of the hanging chad. So now, what I'm saying is this: is that 9/11 would have never happened if Al Gore was president. That's what I'm saying. Now, here's the point. Looking back at George Bush and Dick Cheney going to war, 9/11 happened, all these things happening, the weapons of mass destruction, military. Guess what? Who got rich? Dick Cheney and George Bush got rich.
Halliburton.
That's what actually happened. That's what actually happened.
Yes, that's just not true. The United States had an intelligence unit.
And then they
the United States had an intelligence unit.
Let him respond.
Intelligence units tracking Bin Laden for most of the 1990s. We had intelligence. There was a big attack coming. Wouldn't have mattered whether it was Al. Couldn't have mattered whether it was George W. Bush. The fucking Al-Qaeda was set on attacking us. And it was a group of fucking Saudis, Egyptians, and Afghanis. And they had the international financing from. I'm not done. They had the internet from some in Sudan. And that pioneered and paid for under Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who was the architect of 9/11. They started putting that shit together in the early 1990s after the original attack on the U.S. Trade Center with the gentleman in 1993.
93.
Yeah, so this is not something.
So you're saying
this is not something that had to do with who was president. It was a attack that had been in the works for a decade.
So guess what? That means that CIA had intelligence on the attack prior to the attack, right? And guess what? The thing is this though, there are certain people who didn't go to work that day, right? Who were there every fucking day. But for that day, they just happened to not show up. They told them not to go there. And then they talk about the Twin Towers, but they never talk about Building 7, which is directly behind the Twin Towers. How the fuck did that blow up?
I don't know, but that doesn't mean it was rigged, which is what you're. It doesn't mean it was rigged, which is what you're fucking insinuating.
What I'm saying is that are you saying that Marshall
Building 7 was there? And the thing is, it was incinerated for what?
I'm talking to Marshall.
And what it does.
Marshall.
I'll answer your question. Yes, I'm saying it didn't matter.
Are you saying that 9/11 would have happened with Al Gore being president?
Yes, because the attack by Khalid Sheikh Mohammed had been designed in 94 and 95, and they'd been putting financing to work for 6 years prior to the 9/11 attacks.
Right, so why did George Bush fight against Al Gore so hard to become president? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Wait, why are you connecting the two? They don't have anything to do with each other.
No, I'm saying, you're saying that it doesn't matter who was president, 9/11 was going to happen anyway. That's what you said, Marshall.
Yes, I'm confused. I'm confused as to what fighting for the presidency has to do with that.
I'm telling you, it would not have happened if Al Gore was president.
And I'm telling you, it had been in the works for a decade, and it absolutely would have happened because there wasn't anything because there wasn't anything Al Gore or George W. Bush did.
I was there. Can I listen? I was there. I remember what Bush said. This is because, right? You know, we were there in Desert Storm to invade Kuwait, and Saddam Hussein was always the target, even though Osama bin Laden was the one who blew the towers up. He was in Afghanistan, but for some reason we invade Iraq. Right? A sovereign country who we didn't, have no beef with at that time. And a lot of things that people don't know about Iraq prior to that shit.
Yes, but you're connecting two things which are not connected.
Well,
hold on. George W. Bush connected them in the trying to get the American people behind it. But the two attacks were not connected other than that tangential
explanation. So why bring it up? So why invoke your father and his for Saddam?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is Afghanistan.
Why do Americans gotta die for Israel? I told him question. Why do Americans gotta fucking die for Israel?
We didn't fucking die for Israel on 9/11. We died because they fucking didn't like us.
You want to invade Yemen. You want to invade Jordan.
We're not invading Yemen or Jordan, and nobody ever fucking said that.
You're literally setting up properties.
Bruh, right now, bro, like, Marshall, I'm telling you, bro, if Al Gore was president, 9/11 would not have happened. President. And you're saying that, you know with 100% certainty that if Al Gore was president, 9/11 would have happened. Are you crazy?
Planned the attack on the World Trade Centers, meaning put together the plan for it. They then spent the next 5.5 to 6 years getting financing for that plan. So the plan was in existence long before George W. Bush or Al Gore ever decided to stick their hat in the ring. My point is not that Al Gore would have been a better or lesser president.
I didn't say that. I said that it would have never happened.
Okay. Well, then let's address that with what I just said. You need to engage with substance. What I just said was, this had been a plan in the works for at least 7 years with a total financing time period of about 5 years, right? That means that it wasn't George W. Bush and it wasn't Al Gore, it was Al-Qaeda planning on their own timetable when they were going to attack us and who. They decided on 2001 as a thing. It wasn't because George W. Bush was the president that they attacked. It wasn't because it wasn't because it's not. No, I didn't say you should. I didn't say you know what. Hold on. I didn't. No. Hold on. You need to engage with the substance. You need to engage with the substance of what I said, not what you wish I
trying to get rich.
Bro, you need to engage with the substance. You need to engage. No. You need to engage with the substance. The substance is.
No, I'm telling you,
the substance is that these people planning and financing these attacks for the better of 10 years. You need to engage with that, otherwise your point of view doesn't make any sense.
Getting muted.
You're not making sense though, bro. It's like saying, like, all right, Trump just made the cartels a terrorist organization. Right now,
I'm talking about George Bush. Me and this man Marshall are talking.
Dude, if they decided they wanted to do some shit, they can do it. How would we fucking know? We would. That's the point.
Over 9/11, George Bush or Al Qaeda? George Bush and Dick Cheney got rich over.
I mean, Al Qaeda became the government. Al Qaeda, who were funded mostly by Saudi and Egyptian interests, right? Al Qaeda comes out of the Afghan Soviet Union. Mullah Omar, the nominal Taliban commander, gave Al Qaeda sanctuary in Afghanistan.
Hello, I have a question. If I want to send an email to Mr. Trump, is it any email address available, or you have to put a message on the White House?
So what you need to do is you need to go to the White House website.
I need it for 4,000. Is that right?
Yes. My best suggestion, if you really want to get a message to the president, is find somebody below the level of president to send it to. Typically a staffer or a scheduler. The lower the staffer is, or the more available the scheduler's information means that you're going to have a chance. But what it really means is you're going to have to send an email, and then you're going to have to make sure you call and introduce yourself. Hey, I'm not sure of your name. Hey, I'm Mr. Rankin. I emailed you about this concern. If you could pass it on, I would really appreciate it. Be aware you may get a form letter. So there are templates in there. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying Matt has a connection to Trump through this house. So if you leave the message with us, we can get it to him.
I didn't know the Trump House and the Clubhouse had any relation to the Trump administration campaign.
Yeah, so just go ahead and tell us what your message is, and we can. What's your message?
I want to send an email to him about the situation of the Iran and just explain a couple of things to him about the what's happening in Iran and what's the maybe benefit for the U.S. and Iran both, at the same time.
Well, can you go into more details?
Yeah, but probably I'd like to send email, not just talk.
Well, yeah. So what you would do is write hey, Mr. President, my name is Marshall. I'm really interested in Iran, and you probably have people in your org to tell you this stuff, and I imagine you've got access to all sorts of information. This is the way I would say it, not the way you would say it. You got access to all sorts of information, but I really feel like you should be aware of this piece about Iran. The people think this way specifically, right? And like forward that to somebody forward that to the Trump house, but also do what I did, cover all of your bases. Do the Trump house, do what I suggested, and it's more than likely that your message gets transmitted. Now, all the time. I mean, like 24 hours a day, a man gets told what to about people who work with him. If you get the message to somebody who can introduce it, he usually takes stuff seriously from citizens or from people who have worries. He's far nicer private than he is in public, right? Apparently, he's like much more comprehensive. He can explain a lot more stuff to you than he does in public. As Joe says, it's explained at a fifth grade level, right? Which is probably why he talks the way that he talks. But if you got anything interesting to send to him, he does take constituents from what I know, and Matt Beaver, correct me if I'm wrong, but like he does take those sorts of things seriously. I don't know if he writes back every letter, but I do know he takes letters every day and reads them.
I mean, this could, Omid, if you have something that could really change the dynamics of this war in Iran, you should definitely let the president know.
Hey, thank you very much, sir.
Hey, Beaver, I sent you a little message, but I just want to say this real quick. So, I know a couple people in here heard me saying that I'm from a founding fathers descent line. But I went down the rabbit hole, but I'm a confirmed fourth cousin, 7 times removed with Jared Ingersoll. So,
dude, that's fucking ass. That's some badass shit, man.
Yeah, and I'm also a mogul myself in the music industry. And what's unfortunate is that we got written out of history because for some weird reason, but my second great grandmother was basically was like half white and half French and black somehow, but her mom related to the French Huguenots as well. So it's just a lot of stuff that I covered from the ancestry rabbit hole, but Story Scout verified this connection.
You ever read about the French Huguenot massacre in Paris? Well, I don't know if it was in Paris, but it was in France. Did you ever read about that? They slaughtered.
I have to look into it.
Dude, they slaughtered something like 30,000 Huguenots in a day. Like in a single 12-hour period, they killed 30,000 people. It's it's insane. Right? Like the ability without a firearm to kill that many people in a day is just astonishing.
Crazy, man. But I think this history, like something like that, this was a connection that was gate kept, right? And I also went down the rabbit hole and seen that the Church of Latter-day Saints was lying about. They were trying to what they really did. I haven't really exposed the story yet, but I am going to break this story soon enough. But they were trying to commit genealogy. This bloodline also created Abraham Baldwin as well, who's also a constitutional signer. So, nonetheless, though, this connection also goes back to the 1600s, to the early English settlers in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and stuff like that. But, of course, Jared Ingersoll was from Sophia, and this was my 5th great grandmother's on record confirmed 4th cousin. You feel me? So, and my 3rd great grandfather was a Kellogg, who's also a cousin to the cereal moguls as well. You feel me? So.
This man is a Kellogg cereal?
Stuff like that.
Oh my God, he's a cereal mogul.
They changed names and locations and XYZ. But they were, they were trying to hide this line, basically. This must have been some sort of family secret that we've uncovered. But we know the truth now, so. But I think knowing this, because most of my life I didn't know this, so I think knowing it now, I think, like I said, I'm proud to be an American. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ancestor wasn't a slave, though. You feel what I'm saying? Like, my grandmother, my 2nd great grandmother wasn't a slave. And she even identified as white. She had blue eyes. You feel me? Because her parents were European. So, you know what I'm saying? But,
this was the history they tried to hide, and this is actually my grandmother's father's mother on my mom's side. And I've met my grandfather. He passed in the early 2000s, in like 04, but I met him one time too.
Young Jay, do you come from a family of any descendants of Creole?
Yeah, I actually got some Louisiana family. I actually do.
Is that comes from the line of the lady you're referencing?
No, interestingly enough, so the Kellogg's lived in Mississippi, and that's where I guess she was born at, I assume. But after that, I'm assuming they also moved to California because it's a census record and stuff like that. It says that, and her mom was a Lafayette, so she was like a Canadian French woman. She was from Whiteside, Chicago, Illinois. I think
everybody on this motherfucking app.
Kellogg, he was from I think Westminster, Ohio, or something like that.
I have a question about Creole. Just based off, I don't know if it's the same. I don't really do a lot of history, but I just stayed up one night recently looking up those little islands by Alaska because I like traveling to places, remote places and shit. And I guess the natives from Alaska and Russia, like on that little area, were called Creole also. I don't know if that's where, I don't know how people get anywhere. I'm just curious if it's the same people. If anybody knows.
I'm not an expert on this, but I guess I can try. I don't know about the people in the islands of Alaska. When I was referencing the Creole, that would have been people from Louisiana.
Yeah, I was just curious. It's like, because I've heard of Creole people, and then these ones are more like Native American looking ones.
Familiar with, they're in New Orleans. And one side of the French hated the other side of the French, and it stemmed from the French Revolution. And it's always interesting talking to people that have French relatives and where they lie, trying to figure out where they came into North America based upon how their families shook out after the French Revolution.
Yeah, if you PTR right here, you can see what I'm saying. So what I am saying is, I come from Jared Ingersoll's direct family, so his cousins eventually created my bloodline, basically. So I do not descend from him directly, but I'm a lot relative than his actual direct descendants, like than his grandchildren. And it's because it's something called a long generation. So if somebody waits to have kids, the DNA doesn't get as diluted, which in turn you would get more of this DNA. But my second great grandmother was born in the early 1900s. So her parents were born. Her father was born in the 60s or 50s, and her mom was born in the 1860s. So, and her mom lived all the way until 1950, until she was 80-some years old. And they also lived in California. You feel me? So we seen the census record. That's how we know.
You got me wanting to do one of the DNA things.
Yeah, you never know. And I also asked I use the AI that I would choose. I choose Google Gemini, but I asked it how rare is it that you would find something like this, and really statistically most people that test would never find out that they're close to somebody like this, or like an actual close in that kind of way. So this is kind of like a cool, fascinating piece of history, right? And most of my life I didn't really know this, but when I went down the rabbit hole and I went on family tree genealogy, which Ancestry is also partnered with the Church of Latter-day Saints, right? But Ancestry doesn't care about race and whatever. It cares about the truth, right? And what you can't do is alter biological history. So like I was telling somebody in the chat, life comes from life. So although that I'm more African today, I do have full European ancestors. You know what I'm saying? So, and they weren't, this wasn't something that had anything to do with slavery either, because my grandmother was the only child. So, But I do think because she was mixed in certain things, they used different aliases and different little stuff like that to stay under the radar. And plus, because her father was a Kellogg, they probably didn't want to, and his cousins were out in Michigan or whatever, wherever they were at, becoming serial moguls. That he probably didn't, want the pressure of that family name to, weigh them down and just kind of, pressure them in any kind of way. But that same reason is why they tried to erase us out of history. So you gotta go down the rabbit hole. You gotta see who the people in your DNA matches are your family, and it is some kind of connection to these people, or you wouldn't share DNA with them at all. So it's worth finding just what I've accomplished and what I've done in my own, like kind of how I look at being an independent, sovereign power in the music industry. Because my ancestor believed in sovereignty, you know what I'm saying? Jared Ingersoll fought the Chisholm versus whatever case, whatever. He was the judge over that case. You know what I'm saying? So he believed in independence and the government not having so much control over the people, and I could agree with that. And I see a lot of those similarities. And me and him actually kind of look a little similar too. We come from the same family. I could tell we're cousins for sure. Fascinating, very interesting piece of history. But with something like that, the reason why that would be something that's hidden is because it would taint the purity of whatever the American story is, which they would love to say that the founding fathers or their descendants didn't intermix with black people. That's a damn lie, and it wasn't nothing to do with slavery either. People willingly did this, And I want to say I don't know who was more African, but somebody had to earlier in that period had to have been half black, which is a white passing black person. Somebody had to have been. I just don't know what ancestor, whether it was Harriet Lafayette or was it George Warren Kellogg. How far you made it? Oh, go ahead, sure. Yeah, I was gonna ask AJ, PC, bro, how far you made it back in your French? You navigated through French yet? Or you having trouble? I think so. What I have done, because I have my ancestry, like my raw DNA put inside of my heritage as well. So I have looked that name up also. You can search these names inside of the search bar and see if any DNA matches come up. I have found some Lafayette that still live in France. I haven't reached out to him yet, but I look forward to it soon. Approximately what year did you make it to on your French lines? I mean, well, as far as this relation to this person, to Jared Ingersoll, we trace that back to the 1600s, to early English settlers. So we trace this back like to before America, pre-colonial America, Mm-hmm. So once you want your reparations cut, shit. And look, even if it did, I could get inside of the descendants of signers. And then my fifth great grandmother, her father was a World War I veteran. So I can get into the Brothers of American Revolution. I have the paper trail to prove it, and the DNA verified facts to prove it. France was a mess. I read them stories about what them folks had. But he ended up marrying this one lady, and that lady ended up sharing with her granddaughter, and her granddaughter wrote a second edition of the book and rewrote the preface. explaining, what actually happened, with her grandfather. So, folks had some crazy stories back then, man. Shit wasn't peaches and cream just because you was European.
All I say is, man, it's worth doing the history, man. Do your research, man. It's two sides to history, right? It's the side of the history that that you were told by your loved ones, and it's the truth, right? So, while doing these DNA tests, just understand it may be some things you find out, it may be some family that never knew you existed, and vice versa. So just be prepared for that. Be prepared for people not to really believe you're related to them for whatever reason, even if you do know. And but it's better to know, because guess what? You share genetic material with these people. You share a common ancestor with these people, right? And with a lot of these ancestry tests now, it can pre-screen you for health problems, right? So even if you didn't know where a certain sickness came from, you might be able to find out or prevent certain things from happening based on your genetic markers, because that plays a big role in a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm down. I definitely do the genealogy. I'm not really a fan of the DNA test, but the using the records to find family members.
I mean, we just talking about matches, right? Like what I was bringing up with Ancestry Story Scout. That's basically an AI that if something within your biological story doesn't make sense, or if just something doesn't make sense, maybe a time frame. What Ancestry Story Scout is going to do is find the best biological solution that makes logical sense, right? Because
So you took your DNA test results and threw it into AI, into that AI,
no.
and approved it?
It does it by itself.
Oh, okay.
But see, like I said, most people that take these tests won't find out that they're a close relative of a Constitution signer. Because, like I said, I don't descend from Jared Ingersoll himself. I descend from his close family. So I have that same foundational DNA that he had. That makes sense, but the point of the matter is,
man, it don't make no fucking sense. I don't know what you talking about, dog.
His closest living relatives, and like I said, this is just something that got genealogically corrected. Right now I'm just taking a little break because I know the Church of Latter-day Saints is kind of in a hot seat right now, so I'm taking a break before I break the story, but it's coming out. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully this ends racism. This story. You see, it's cat, but you can't argue with biological history and genealogical history.
Facts. So what do the Mormons have to do with it? I'm just curious.
Because
I work in solar, so I
guess manage these like Behind the Grave, all these different sites. They manage these sites and give these sites the API information that it has, and even if it's false information. So it's people on there that they call them fucking like contributors or something, right? But these are people that have no fucking direct relation to you or none of your ancestors, that will change stuff about your ancestor to disconnect you from these kind of prestigious lines if you do have a connection. Yeah. This is what these people do. And the reason why is one, so you don't know the relation, and two, maybe so you can't ask for some kind of inheritance if you want some. If you were entitled to one, they wrote you out of inheritance. You see what I'm saying? So it's just shit like that now. And the reason why I know they're in the hot seat is right when I expose all this, and I went up in the back and forth through email and stuff like that, and they're trying to tell me that I'm not. I guess you got to be 5 generations from the person. I'm like, well, motherfucker, this is my second great grandmother. I'm not talking about somebody else. I mean, yeah, even though I was born in '97, my grandparent was born. My great grandfather was born in the '30s. He was born in '37. You feel me? So that's not that far back. And I met my great grandfather. I met a lot of my great grandparents.
They said you had to be
some old, some young.
For what?
For me to, I guess, manage these memorials. Yeah, for me to manage these memorial graves that's posted on these sites. But the people that's managing these sites have no direct DNA verification to these people. And see, these kind of prestigious families, they have money to do shit like that, to have researchers disconnect. And, best believe when we took a test in 2020 or whatever, they see me pop up on their radar. And this family also has historical gravesite burial plots as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's deep. And I think it's in what I want to say, New Haven, Massachusetts, somewhere in Massachusetts, 40 miles outward. You know what I'm saying? It's always a family secret or something. Maybe that even though they knew their ancestors did it willingly, they might not have been proud, right? So they're like, you know what? If they were just hoping that this line didn't thrive and survive, but we here. That's all.
Yeah, then Mormons love nation. Just as somebody who not only deals with them texting me all the time, trying to get me to come to church, but they're just really on point and they're very persistent and they're all about what they're all about. I have some sales guys in the solar industry. I'm in the operations side. I was an installer, but once I got to management, I started meeting salespeople. Showed up to one of their parents' wife's dad's house or something to check it out, to do a ground mount system there. And they had 3 ADUs, and each ADU was just a room with 12 bunks all on the wall, like military buildings. So they just come out here from Utah to California, sell a bunch of solar, and then go back. So it's they're just in there selling solar, collecting everybody's information. They want you to come to church and be your friend and shit. They're very on the rise.
Yeah, this is no game. And see, when I break this story, I'm also going to bring up the fact that they tried to lie, right? The Church of Latter-day Saints, because they were behind hiding this information, right? And it's funny because their own AI, because they're partnered with Ancestry too, still discovered this. So I'm sitting here arguing with somebody on fucking Family Search or whatever. And they're like, oh, you made a threat to somebody. No, I didn't. I told this motherfucker if they don't stop lying, I'm going to report it. I'm not making a threat. I'm making you a promise. You're disrespecting the founding fathers' descendant line. It's not going to end good for you. Period, point blank. Because guess what? My second great grandmother deserves her real story to be told. You know what I'm saying? Not a fabricated story. They're trying to connect her to some people from fucking Texas. We don't have no connections to people over there. And the people there saying her parents were born in the fucking later 1800s, 88 or 18, whatever. They would have been kids themselves. There's no way biologically they could have had her. So that was the first lie that a DNA, one of these people that detaches people from these lines does. You know what I'm saying? And see, they probably already knew that someday we would find this out. And I think the Kellogg family as well, because we're connected to them. I think they recently sold the brand 5 years ago, probably around the time where I took that test, when they sold the brand. So it's, like I said, it's a lot bigger than what you think. Of course, it's historical erasure and it's also genealogical erasure by record. So that you gotta go down the rabbit hole, find the records, find the matches, see the names, all that, And if you don't see it on one platform, you can go to another one and take a test there, or put your raw DNA in the other one, and search those names over there. If you see something, then that tells you what you need to know, right? And then see, it's a lot of family secrets. So
that makes sense. Hey, I have a question for Pepe or Beaver or any of the mods. Are you guys there? I take it not. Well, Communist Hitler is weird. Awful, the same views, not in the same party, don't think the same thing. I don't understand. I asked you a simple time nicely. I don't understand why you have to compare me to these people when all I gotta say,
Hey Marshall, you see the post that came out saying that the money was only from the United. It's not the United Nations.
The nations, which were like when it falling apart before the Nazi government was ever replaced. Is that what you mean?
No. I'm talking about like some of the current events
Oh,
today.